the Tampa Spartans hit this miraculous shot against the Mocs of Florida Southern to send the game into overtime. The game would eventually be won by Tampa by a score of 84-81. Tonight, the Spartans will once again look to Williams to bring home the Sunshine State Conference Tournament title for the third time in 7 years. For the Moccasins of Florida Southern, their hopes lie on the outside shooting of senior guard Michael Dean, who leads the Mocs in scoring with over 20 points per game. Tonight, head coach Richard Schmidt and his #1 ranked Tampa Spartans face the Florida Southern Mocs and head coach George Schultz for the 1990 Sunshine State Conference Championship. You'll see it next on Sports Channel.
Sports Channel presents the Sunshine State Conference.
From the Bob Martinez Sports Center in Tampa, Florida, Sports Channel Florida presents the Sunshine State Conference Men's Basketball Championship. Tonight, the Spartans of Tampa take on the Moccasins of Florida Southern. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Bob Martinez Sports Center. I'm Frank Messer, along with Bill Alheim, for tonight's Sunshine State Conference Men's Championship basketball game. And Bill Alheim, not just another basketball game.
Absolutely, Frank. It's unbelievable. These teams are meeting for the 4th consecutive time for the Sunshine State Conference Championship in tournament play. It's got to be a barn burner. It's got to be exciting. We expect the gym to be packed by tip-off time.
Well, now, the last time these two teams met, about 2 weeks ago, you had that ball game. The buzzer did or did not sound. It went into overtime and created a little bit of an uproar.
Absolutely. A great big controversy here in the Bob Martinez Sports Center. The game ended with Florida Southern having a 2-point lead. Derek Flowers rebounded a Tampa shot in the closing seconds, stepped on the out-of-bounds line. A whistle went off, but the clock read 0-0-0. A controversial play. Whether time was remaining or not, we don't know. Anyway, Tampa inbounded an alley-oop pass, and Williams stuffed it in and went to overtime, and Tampa was the eventual winner.
Brian Williams, a true All-American candidate in my book.
Absolutely, Frank. There's no question in my mind that all the sports fans out there that happen to watch this ball game, I liken Williams to Adrian Dantley. He's smooth, he's calm, he's cool. He's averaging 23 points a game, but more importantly, he's averaging over 4 steals a game, shooting about 40% from three-point range. A tremendous athlete.
Okay, now, Bill, you moved Brian Williams into a pretty exclusive neighborhood right there. On the other side, what about this youngster, Michael Dean?
Michael Dean is about a 6'2" guard. He can play the wing or he can play the point. He, at one time, was leading the conference with three-point shooting percentage, and he just bombs it out there. He can go inside, he can go outside, he's explosive. I think the key to Florida Southern's success is going to be whether or not he has an outstanding scoring night.
Whatever happens, I think it's going to be a great basketball game. And we'll be back to meet the coaches right after this timeout on Sports Channel.
Tune on Sports Channel America any night of the week for exciting sports.
On comes Fuller on a breakaway. Let's shoot, score! Moving into the circle, side of that Graham for Thomas. He scores!
Nobody delivers the NHL like we do, with more than 100 hard-hitting contests straight through to the Stanley Cup Finals.
Bennett's going to have to hurry.
Keep this with the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame as they challenge top college teams across the nation. Climb into the ring every week with the Sports Channel Pro Boxing Tour. It's a knockout. Feel the fever of high school sports with the National Federation Game of the Week. Sports Nightly keeps you up to date with the latest scores, highlights, and news before and after every event. Plus, men's and women's college basketball, the Los Angeles and Boston Marathon, pro tennis, English League soccer, international amateur events, and more. Turn on Sports Channel America for exciting sports.
And now welcome back to the Martinez Sports Center here in Tampa, Florida. And let's see what the coaches think about tonight's game. First of all, George Schultz of Florida Southern. George, just another routine basketball game, I guess.
That's exactly right, Frank. It's always a great game with Tampa. This place really should be packed tonight. There's been a lot of interest, and we have a lot of respect for their program, and it's going to be another great basketball game.
I read a quote from you in the paper. You said if anybody came to this game and didn't get their money's worth, just to get in touch with you and you'd pay them back.
If they don't like it, they can call me, and I'll give them the money back. Sure will.
George, what about your basketball team for tonight's game? You had an easy time last night in the semifinal. Is that good or bad?
Well, there's no games in this league that are easy, Frank, and last night it certainly wasn't. It got stretched out to 15 points at the end, but FIT battled us and made some runs at us, and I thought our kids executed very well, played very well down the stretch, and played very well when FIT made their runs, but it certainly wasn't easy, and there are no easy ones in this league.
George, I got to ask you one more question. Have you checked the buzzer for tonight's game?
I'm sure everything's fine. We're looking forward to both the start of the game and the end of the game, and I'm sure there'll be a buzzer there.
All right, George Schultz, thank you so much for chatting with us. And now let's go to Richard Schmidt. Rich, the head basketball coach here at Tampa University. Your feelings about tonight's championship game?
Well, it comes down to this, it looks like about every year. And, of course, the Tampa, Florida Southern basketball games are as good a basketball game as you're going to see in the country. Our kids are all competitive, and they know each other so well. It's really not a lot of fun, in my opinion, coaching in this game, because everybody knows each other so well that it kind of makes you pull your hair out sometimes.
All right, now you say everybody knows each other so well. What then do you tell your kids to really get them up for a game like this?
Well, you just got to go out and play and hope the ball goes in the basket for you and hope that your opponent can't put it in, I guess. I don't know. We're just going to go out and do the same things we've done all year, and I'm sure that's what Florida Southern's going to do, and we just hope that, that we have a good ball game.
Gentlemen, the very best of luck to both of you. I'm sure we will have a good ball game. And we'll be back with the starting lineups and the start of tonight's game. But first, please, this timeout on Solheim. And we're all set for the Sunshine State Conference Men's Basketball Championship game. Florida Southern College, the Moccasins, during the regular season won 21 and lost 7. The University of Tampa Spartans, regular season record of 26-2. They're first ranked in Division II in the nation. And now for the starting lineups, ladies and gentlemen, here's public address announcer Mike Ledding.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the final of the Sunshine State Conference men's basketball tournament between the University of Tampa and Florida Southern College. The winner of tonight's game earns an automatic bid in the 1990 NCAA Division II men's basketball tournament. Here are your starting lineups. First, for the visiting Moccasins of Florida Southern College. At guard, a 6-foot senior from Key West, Florida, number 5, Michael Dean. The other guard, a 5-foot 9-inch senior from Palm Beach, Florida, number 14, Sean Fitzmaurice. At forward, a 6-foot 2-inch junior from Miami, Florida, number 24, George Nunez. The other forward, a 6-foot 7-inch senior from Pompano Beach, Florida, number 32, Donley Tyrell. And at center, a 6-foot 5-inch junior from Winter Haven, Florida, number 22, Derek Flowers. The Moccasins are coached by George Schultz. The associate coach is Gordon Gibbons, and the graduate assistant is Bob Olson. And now, the starting lineup for your University of Tampa Spartans. At guard, a 5'11" junior from Tampa, number 15, Kevin Starnes. At guard, a 6'3" junior from Miami, Florida, number 32, Drexel DeVoe. At forward, a 6'5" senior from Fort Myers, number 11, Roscoe Brown. At forward, a 6'5" junior from Palm Beach, Florida, number 34, Ryan Williams. At center, a 6'6" senior from Wheeling, West Virginia, number 44, Michael Bad Stiglich. The Spartans are coached by Richard Schmidt and Don Bostic. The assistant coach is Joe Nyland. Officials for tonight's game.
And we're just about set for championship action. You're looking right now at Richard Schmidt, 7 years the head basketball coach here at the University of Tampa, and his opposite, George Schultz, an 8-year head coach at Florida Southern College. The officials for tonight's game are Bill Campion, Ken Sussman, and Virgil Valdez. And Bill Alheim, I'm a little bit surprised it is not a complete sellout crowd as yet, although it is a good crowd here at the Bob Martinez Sports Center.
Well, it's got to be an exciting game. Everybody that loves basketball in this area should be here tonight. These teams are meeting for the 5th time, 4th straight time for the conference championship. And we got good matchups. Florida Southern is starting Fitzmaurice, a little bit smaller guards than they have been starting. And I think they're trying to match up with the speed of DeVoe and Brown and perhaps compensate a little bit because both of them are faster than Starnes. They got to push the Tampa guards outside a little bit farther because they shoot so well when they get to the three-point range line.
And here we go. The ball is in the air, and the tap is controlled by the red-clad moccasins of Florida Southern. Down in the right-hand corner. Shot is taken, and it is good by Donnelly Tyrell.
Fitzmaurice threw an excellent over-the-top pass to Tyrell, posted up in the low post, and he went up uncontested, really.
Stiglitz tries to feed the ball to Roscoe Brown. It goes out of bounds on a turnover to Florida Southern.
Roscoe Brown ought to be ready tonight. A few nights ago we saw him. He was out for about 8 games with a broken ham. He's come back, played 3 ball games, and should be ready to really play well tonight. They need him, every inch of him.
That's Michael Dean with the ball for the Florida Southern Moccasins. Works it off to Sean Fitzmaurice, 5'9" guard, getting a starting role tonight. Driving to the baseline, feeding underneath. The shot is up, and it is good by Derek Flowers on a feed from George Nunez.
Nunez made a good penetration move. He just gave him a little shake and bake and drove to his left and dumped it on the inside. And that's a good matchup. If they're going to keep that ball inside all night, Tampa could have a problem.
And the ball is stolen away by Michael Dean. Here come the Moccasins down on a good block underneath by the Spartans' Brian Williams. But to no avail as the three-pointer is made from the corner.
Sean McMorris, he's been noted as a free throw shooter, a three-point shooter. He came from Palm Beach Community College, and he's shooting right at 46% from three-point range.
I've got him 20 out of 40, which would be 50%. That could be off just a bit. Foul is on Nunez of the Florida Southern College Moccasins. Southern leads by a score of 7-0. The first foul of the game. The shot is taken, no good, and rebounded again by Derek Flowers. Along the baseline and tripped up on the baseline was Michael Dean. He hit pretty hard down there, and the man who tripped him unintentionally, Drexel DeVoe, helps him up.
Yeah, DeVoe, they just tangled feet. He was penetrating to the baseline. They moved the ball up court, and Dean, of course, is awfully fast. He took the ball, was driving baseline, and they just tangled feet. An unintentional foul. Good call by the referee.
On the pass in, a steal by DeVoe. And he loses control. So another turnover, and Florida Southern leading by a score of 7-0. Will have the ball again.
Yes, Frank, after 2 minutes, Tampa has turned the ball over 3 times and really has only got 1 shot on goal so far in the game.
Michael Dean brings it down, circles to his own right. Breaks off, passes back outside to Sean Fitzmaurice. Morris drives to the paint. Underneath, the shot taken by Derek Flowers. No good.
There's a lot of controversy on this call. Derek Flowers turned into the defense, and evidently he hit him with an elbow, and a referee called it. Here comes a good pass, turned inside, a slight bump, a jump up. Frank, here we go again. If they're going to call him that tight, it's going to be a tough night for a lot of people.
Starnes feeds the ball. The shot taken no good underneath by Drexel DeVoe. And Southern comes back down court with it. That is Michael Dean. That's Mars. Now the ball goes over underneath. Tapped no good as Donnelly Tyrell tried to put it through. Ball out of bounds, turned over to Tampa.
Evidently, George Schultz's game plan is to pump that ball inside to his big men, and they've been successful thus far. However, they're rushing it a little bit. They got the rushing. They had 2 quick scores by Donnelly Tyrell, and a little bit careless with the pass the last 2 trips.
Kevin Starnes, a junior from Gaither High right here in Tampa, brings the ball down, works it off to Drexel DeVoe. Now DeVoe to Big Stiglitz. Back it goes to Starnes, and the shot is taken, and no good by Brian Williams, averaging 24 points a game. And here come the Moccasins back down court. That was George Nunez. Shot taken underneath, no good by Donnelly Tyrell. And the whistle blows, the ball turned over to Tampa.
Donnelly just missed an easy baseline drive. A little bit of anxiety, a little bit of adrenaline flow in there, I would say, Frank. Shot it over the rim, got his own rebound. When he came down, he stepped on the out-of-bounds line.
In for Florida Southern comes Sherman Johnson, a junior from Hillsborough Community College and from Sefner, Florida.
Played for Joe Patton over there at Hillsborough Community College and went to the state tournament a couple of years ago and almost to the national final.
And again, Tampa turns the ball over to Southern. They're playing just a little bit uptight, or so it would appear, and I have no idea why.
They're a little bit anxious. It's obviously their home game, and they're just uptight. They lost the last 3 championship games to Florida Southern, so they want to prove something. They're out here to win in front of their home crowd, and they're very anxious.
Still no scores for Tampa, and we played 3.5 minutes worth of basketball, and the Spartans have yet to score.
Donnelly Tyrell just got a great rebound, but lost it when he came down.
Southern grabs the rebound again, and taking the ball off was Sherman Johnson. Here come the Moccasins. Johnson charging down the lane, and he is fouled.
I think they called that one on Stiglitz, Frank, because Johnson is very quick and beat the defensive guard, and Stiglitz came over to help out, and they called it on Stiglitz, and it might not have been on him.
They called it on Drexel DeVoe. Stiglitz isn't out there. Yes,
right.
Stiglitz is out there.
Yeah, Stiglitz raised his hand, and he thought it was on him, and he confused us.
I think it was on Drexel DeVoe. Southern with the ball intercepted by Kevin Starnes. And the Spartans go down. Starnes lays it up, and the first 2 points for Tampa come at the 15:55 mark of the first half. So they went over 4 minutes without scoring.
Yeah, that breaks the ice. They'll get relaxed now, and I'm sure their shooting will pick up dramatically.
Florida Southern brings it down. Dean shoots. No good. Grabbing the rebound underneath was Donnelly Tyrell, and the whistle, a pushing violation.
Donnelly Tyrell came to play. Now, he's grabbed about 4 offensive rebounds here in the early going, and if he keeps that up, they're going to be tough.
And this time the foul is on Stiglitz.
Here he gets the ball. He goes up. He goes up over Stiglitz, shoots the ball. He's quicker than Stiglitz, and just went around and got the rebound and got the foul.
Stiglitz, awfully big man to get around. He's 6'6", 245. He's a wide body. And now we're going to have a technical, I believe, on Richie Schmidt. And he's going to take a timeout. I believe I saw the sign for a technical on Schmidt. And he calls timeout and calls his team over to the sideline. There is Schmidt.
He's absolutely...
He wants one of the officials to come over, and the official will not go over and talk to him.
The officials are not obligated to talk to the coach. Now, he called the timeout, and the official is...
We'll take a break and get back to it with the score 7-2 in favor of Florida Southern. We'll be back. I wanted the officials to come over and answer whatever question he had to ask, Bill.
Yeah, that was a courtesy call. According to the rules, the referees do not have to go over there to the coach and speak to him, but it's a nice idea. It's a good gesture, and it keeps things somewhat under control if normal relations can be maintained throughout a game. I don't know what Richard said to the official, but he said something, but Ken Sussman come right away and stuck him with a technical. That was a 2-shot foul. Now they're going to the line now to shoot a 2 shots, a personal foul, then somebody will probably come in other than Donnelly Tyrell, probably Michael Dean, to shoot the 2 technical.
Tyrell has hit 72% of his free throws this year, averaging 19.4 points per game, and misses. He's out of Pompano Beach and Ely High School. Donnelly is a senior. 6'7", 205-pounder. He hits on his second. Now let's see whom they call upon to shoot the technical. And you're right, Bill, it will be Michael Dean, who has hit 85% of his free throws this year.
Michael Dean's just a great shooter. I have him here for shooting 47.4% from three-point range, which puts him in the top 5 in the nation. And obviously, just as soon as we make a great comment on the kid, how good a shooter he is, he misses the front end of a two-shot free throw attempt.
He missed both of them. Hard to believe that Michael Dean, 85%, would miss 2 in a row. He had 23 points in last night's win over Florida Tech, which the Moccasins won 89-74. On the technical, the Moccasins not only get the 2 free throws, but retain possession of the basketball, or get possession. That's Sherman Johnson. Now on the far side, the ball is off to Sean Fitzmars. Now Michael Dean dances it around. Working the ball now, Sherman Johnson. Dean, they're just setting up a play, trying to find somebody loose underneath for a high percentage shot. Dean has it. 18 seconds on the shooting clock. The shot is taken from underneath by Derek Flowers, and I thought they worked well to set that play up.
Right. They worked well. They had a lot of movement by the perimeter players, the inside players. Terrell and Flowers didn't exactly move as much, but they got the penetration. When they got the penetration, get the switch, and that's what led to the opening.
A forced three-point attempt by Brian Williams goes out of bounds, and again, Tampa has turned the ball over.
Brian Williams looked like he got hit. I don't know if the official saw it or was he hit or not, but he gave the grimace to the official. What are you going to call it? And obviously the official didn't call that one.
So now once again, Florida Southern brings the ball down court. That is Sean Fitzmars. A bid to steal it by Brian Williams goes awry, and Williams will be called for a foul. A foul on Williams will be his first. And for Florida Southern, only the second, or rather for Tampa, the 4th team foul.
Terrell Doppwell's in the game for Tampa. Dean beat him on a penetrating move, a great move. He split both of them, took it to the hole, and banked it off the glass.
Michael Dean, an outstanding basketball player from Key West High School and St. Thomas University. It is 12-2. Florida Southern. Big Stiglitz at the top of the key. Now they work the ball outside of Topwell, driving the baseline and putting the ball up. Missing the shot was Roscoe Brown, and again Southern is controlling the backboard.
That's Donnelly Tyrell. He must have a half a dozen already.
Well, how many points does he have as he gets 2 more there, and it's 14-2 with 13:50 left to go in the first half.
That's another pass from Fitzmars to the low post to Terrell again.
Starnes with the basketball for the Spartans. Stiglitz has moved down lower. Williams, they're having trouble with the Florida Southern defense right now. Stiglitz passing the ball back. Starnes has the shot. 3-point range, no good. And again, Southern clears the board. And again, it was Donnelly Tyrell on the rebound. Fitzmars, 3-pointer for Fitzmars.
That's 2 for him. 7 minutes gone by.
And Florida Southern has built up a 15-point lead with 13:11 left to go in the first half. The score is 17-2. There's a timeout, and we'll take a timeout and be right back on Sports Channel. At State Conference solely for the entertainment of our audience. Any reproduction, retransmission, or other use of this program without the express written consent of Sports Channel Florida is prohibited. Well, we're seeing a well-oiled machine in Florida Southern College build up a 15-point lead over Tampa with 13:11 left to go in the first half, Bill.
Right, it's kind of hard to explain. They come into a full-court press, and they just put in number 44 as well.
That was Jason Shin. But now we have Starnes bringing the ball down. Brian Williams has it. Back to Starnes. Shot will be taken. 3-point range by Carroll Topwell. No good. And again, same story. Southern clears the boards. That time it was Derek Flowers on the rebound. And Sean Fitzmars brings the ball up court.
Calvetti Pate also came in for Florida Southern. They're giving some of their inside men a little bit of rest. Nunez is back, and that's Pate on the left wing. Made a great fake and hit the jumper. He's a junior college transfer from Miami-Dade Community College South Campus.
Calvetti Pate. It is 19-2. Williams for three, air ball. And it will stay in the possession of Tampa.
Shin went up to get the rebound. It looked like he got bumped either by his own teammate, it looked like. And the ball went off his hands out of bounds.
Another turnover. Fitzmaurice down court like a flash. Little fancy dribble behind the back. Whistle blows.
He got fouled. The foul's on him. But Jason Shin made a terrible mistake. He crowded Fitzmaurice. He's on a 2-on-1 type pass break, and Shin came up right behind him, interfered with the play. As we can see here, Shin is making now. Fitzmaurice goes to the basket, and there's Shin right in his way. And fortunately, he came out by a foul.
First personal on Starnes.
They put Tyrell right back in the ball game. They gave him that minute or two rest, and he's been just an animal tonight. Just owned the glass.
And in for Tampa, number 24 is Michael Morosky, a junior from Merrimack, New Hampshire. Fitzmaurice outside to Dean. Dean takes the jumper short. As it was partially blocked, it looks to be Brian Williams getting a piece of the ball.
It was Brian. He jumps. He's a leaper. He can do it all, inside and out.
And we'll get a substitution in for the white-clad Spartans of Tampa. Carol Dopwell comes back in, and it'll be Kevin Starnes going out for a rest.
Kevin Starnes is one of the best point guards to have in the conference. I really like this kid. I have a lot of respect for him. He's not fast or quick in any stretch of the imagination, but he protects the ball very, very well and averages over 6 assists a game.
And also coming into the ball game, number 24, George Nunez back in. And it will be Michael Dean taking a rest. The last foul. Ball on the floor, picked up by Southern. Nunez trying to feed underneath to Drexel DeVoe.
Nunez got the ball on the outlet pass, dribbled down here past midcourt, right in front of our table. But he took his first 3 dribbles with his head down and missed Donnelly Tyrell on the right wing.
Tried to get the ball in, forced it really to Tyrell. Off the back rim, and Tampa cannot buy a bucket. They just can't buy one as Jason Shin grabs the rebound for Southern. Shin with the ball back. Fitzmaurice now in the right-hand corner. As he starts out with it, foul is called.
It's on Matt Streff, I believe. He just came over the top of Shin and pushed him a little bit. It wasn't a serious foul, just a little over the top. Normal contact in the low post area. The referee decided to call.
And there it was, as you said, it was on Streff, Matt Streff, freshman from Lynn Haven, Florida, and Mosley High School. 16 fouls on Tampa, 3 against Florida Southern.
All right, Tampa tightened down the defense. They put on the pressure, and Fitzmaurice couldn't find an open man, didn't get it in bounds. It's a 5-second violation, and the ball goes back over to Tampa.
Quick shot of Richard Schmidt on the Tampa bench. His team has scored only 2 points, and we have played nearly 9 minutes worth of basketball here in the first half. So far, it has been all Florida Southern College. To the paint, pushing that man for 2 points, Carol Dopwell, junior from Washington, D.C. It's 19-4, 10:48 left to go in the first half.
It's been a long time between baskets for Tampa University.
Fitzmaurice for 3. John Fitzmaurice.
I believe he's 3 for 3 from three-point range. He is 3 for 3.
And 22 out of 42 for the year. Tampa in trouble again, and the ball is turned over on the close guarding as Drexel DeVoe could not get rid of it to anybody, could not do anything with it.
This is where championships are made, where champions are you know, they just come out, and that's the defense. On every sport, if you're going to win the big silverware, you've got to play that defense. And both teams are playing hard, playing well.
Nunez on the drive. Ball taken away from him. He is stripped. Brian Williams brings it down for Tampa. Williams forced to the corner and passes the ball right into the hands. Tried to get it in the hands of Drexel DeVoe, he did.
And Michael Dean came baseline and just slapped the ball out of bounds just in the nick of time.
That is Jason Shin, number 44, and also number 22, back in the ball game. Tampa trying to get something going. Williams now to Doppwell. Doppwell moving on Fitzmars, gets it to Williams in the corner for three. No. And again, it's Southern on the rebound. Coming off of the ball, Derek Flowers down court underneath. They had a 3-on-1 situation underneath as Donnelly Tyrell.
Very unselfish play on behalf of Nunez. He had a little awkward layup, but he passed it over to the big guy Tyrell, who had an easy shot, laid it in for 2 points.
It's an early blowout right here. 24-4, Florida Southern. Tampa trying to do something with the ball. In and out. They cannot buy a bucket. Ball out of bounds. Turned over again to Florida Southern.
That's a 20-point lead and 11 minutes into the ball game. Richard Smith is going through his worst nightmare ever. It's unbelievable. They beat Florida Southern at Florida Southern and beat them here in an overtime game about 2 weeks ago. You know, there's no solution to this type of thing.
Sean Fitzmars. Did he drive? No, he was fouled. He was pushed. And the foul will be on the Spartans, Drexel DeVoe.
Sean Fitzmars is quick now. He takes a move to his right, and DeVoe just closed the gap a little bit tight and hit him with the knee.
Hit him with the knee and also got him with the foot, I believe, and pushed the pivot foot with his own foot. DeVoe is third personal foul, and he is on the bench.
This hurts Tampa University. They got to have DeVoe in there. He's averaging 22 points a game for the entire season of 28 games. They can't go it alone without him.
He had 21 points last night and 4 rebounds, did DeVoe. Fitzmars hit his first, and he misses the second, and Tampa rebounds. Michael Morosky pulled the ball off the boards, and this will be Kevin Starnes, a junior from Gaither High right here in Tampa. Ball tapped away, but he gets it back. Brian Williams, another air ball thrown up by Williams. Fitzmars down court quickly for Southern. Dean shoots, no. And it is Morosky grabbing the rebound, and Morosky is called for the foul as he fouls Jason Shin.
He just threw. He got the rebound. It was a good play. Derek Flowers got a hand on the last shot on the other end. He comes down with the ball, and watch him show the elbow. He just threw the elbow back into the chest of Shin. You just can't do that.
That is the first foul. And a substitution in for the Florida Southern Moccasins.
They got 7 fouls on the scoreboard. That's a 1-and-1. The referees, I don't know what they're doing. They're letting it go on. Either that or the scorer is wrong.
Nunez is back in. It's a bonus situation now as far as the fouls are concerned. Underneath, laid up, and it is hit through by Derek Flowers.
Shin made a great assist to the low post. That's where they got to have the ball. They got it into the big men. They're doing a great job in addition to Fitzmars hitting the 3 3-pointers.
27-4 the score. And we have a foul call now on Florida Southern's Derek Flowers. Into the ball game, Calvetti Pate, number 23. Starnes, got it by Dean. Williams, Doppwell, Stiglitz, back to Starnes. As he goes up for the shot, he is fouled by Michael Dean.
Michael almost got the offensive charge. He's working hard to contain Starnes. Starnes is a pretty good ball player. He's smart. He's not quick. uses his body well. And as we can see on the replay here, he takes it in, and Dean closes the gap on him and bumps him with his chest. He just didn't have the angle.
Let's see, coming in for Tampa is Roscoe Brown back into the lineup for the Tampa Spartans as Michael Dean goes to the line.
He looked mechanically perfect on that one. That hit nothing but the bottom of the net.
Off the back rim, but it rebounds right into the hands of Dean. Williams for three. It is no, and off of the rebound come the Moccasins again. Full court pressure, but to no avail. They work the ball down very well, do the Moccasins. Nunez gets it back outside. The shot is taken. The shot is good by Calvetti Pate. And Florida Southern College leads 29-5 with 7:30 left to go in the first half. Doppwell along the baseline to Stiglitz. Doppwell gets it back for the drive. The shot is good by Carroll Doppwell, the junior from Washington, D.C.
Well, everybody slowed it down this time. They had a chance to move it up a little bit quicker than they did. Florida Southern, they've been on a high up-tempo type game.
When you're on that kind of a high up-tempo situation, I think you ought to keep it going. That is Nunez. Now Dean. Dean being watched closely by Doppwell. Takes the shot over Doppwell's head and hits for three. Michael Dean hits for three, and it's 32-7. Florida Southern over Tampa. I can't believe it, Bill.
It's unbelievable. Florida Southern is putting on a basketball defensive clinic, and unfortunately for Tampa, even when they have the shots, they can't hit them.
The defense is the name of the game as far as Florida Southern is concerned. Doppwell shoots, banks it in. Two for Doppwell. Makes it 32-9 with 6:20 left to go in the first half. And the Moccasins bring the ball up court. I'm Frank Musser along with Bill Alheim here at the Bob Martinez Sports Center in Tampa, Florida. Championship game of the Sunshine State Conference. Dean for three, no. Starnes on the rebound for Tampa.
They got a fast break going.
Doppwell shoots, no. And the rebound by Florida Southern. Jason Shin going high for the last rebound. Jason, a 6'7" junior from Lakeland High School.
Going into tonight's game, Tampa University is averaging a little bit over 90 points a game and only giving up 68.9 a game, which their point spread was leading the nation. And it's in reverse tonight.
Certainly is in reverse tonight. Bank off the backboard. Stiglitz grabs the rebound as Donnelly Tyrell put the ball up. Underneath, that will be no basket if it goes. The whistle blows.
Well, it's Roscoe Brown. He took it baseline and couldn't go up right away with it. And just travel with it. Simply playing.
Right now there is a timeout. 5:17 left to go in the first half. It's 32-9. Florida Southern College by 23 points. We'll be right back. What baseball is there to talk about, Ed? At 6:30, thoroughbred action from Gulfstream Park. 7 o'clock, baseball, Army in South Florida live. 10 o'clock, Sports Nightly live. 10:30, Sports Channel Pro Boxing Tour. So be sure to tune in to Sports Channel for all those programs coming up later on. Talking baseball, I don't know what baseball Ed's going to talk about. It won't be Major League Baseball, it doesn't look like. In fact, I don't know whether anybody's going to be talking about Major League Baseball at all for a long time yet to come this year.
Doesn't look good for the small round ball fans.
Ball comes in to Michael Dean, and it's taken away by Starnes. We'll turn around and go back the other way. Roscoe Brown down quickly for Tampa. Feeds the ball out to Carroll Doppwell. Jumper from the baseline is good. Doppwell's the only man who's able to hit the bucket for Tampa tonight.
Doppwell's got 8 of Tampa University's 11 points, and for Florida Southern University, Fitz Morris got 10, Donnelly Tyrell 7, Flowers 6, and Dean 5.
32-11 is the score. Southern leading by 21 points. 4:45 on the clock, first half. Dean in a bit of trouble, works the ball out to Fate. Underneath it goes to Donnelly Tyrell, and Tyrell is fouled.
Murawski just got over and gave him a little hatchet job on the arms with a real good pass into Lopez, as you can see here. Stiglich come over and just broke a few bones there. Stiglich is a big fella. He's 6'6", 245 pounds, so he's a tough low-post player.
Yep, but the foul was on Roscoe Brown, his first. And the shot by Donnelly Tyrell is good. Tyrell's been averaging 19.5 points a game, hitting 72% of his free throws. 6'7" senior from Pompano Beach and Ely High School. That's quite a sports program there at Ely High School, believe me. I live over in that area, and I can speak from experience.
They went to the state tournament, the high school state tournament, for the third consecutive year and lost in the opening round.
Stiglich passing the ball into Starn. There's the shooting percentage. Florida Southern 65%, Tampa only 20%, 5 out of 20. Unbelievable.
That's remarkable. It's hard for Richard Smith to believe, and I'm sure George Schultz is happy that things are going his way.
Finally, the All-American candidate, Brian Williams, hits. I believe that's his first bucket.
That's the first points of the game. It took him over 15 minutes to score. And he's an All-American, and certainly number one on the All-South team.
24 points per game average. That was a three-pointer, by the way, and it is 34-14. Southern by 20. And Southern with the ball. Sherman Johnson was in trouble, got it to Fitzmars. He was in trouble. The ball taken by Roscoe Brown of Tampa. He goes driving in, and a charging violation. A charging foul and no basket.
George Nunez just stood in there tough. Flowers intercepted the ball, took it down, gave it a look, tried to look away like he did it to Stein. Nunez read it, stood his position, took the charge, took the knee in the middle of the chest. Great defensive play. Florida Southern has come to play.
Nunez took one for the team right there. And Richard Schmidt is irate. He is screaming at his own people over there in front of his bench. He is upset, and of course, understandably so. There's a timeout on the floor. The score, Southern 34, Tampa 14. We'll be right back. As head coach here at Tampa, he has just never seen a team go out there and perform as his team has tonight.
He put his team in a full court man-to-man press.
And the bucket by Jason Shin.
Fitzmars took it down the left side, penetrated to the middle, and had a 3-on-2 situation and just jumped it into Shin.
Tampa almost lost the ball, but got it back. That is Starn being guarded by Fitzmars. Starn is the playmaker. The quarterback, he goes, he's going to take the shot himself, and he scores. Kevin Starnes averaging but 6.5 per game. Had no points in last night's win, 88-61 over Rollins. But he gets the bucket there. Full court pressure.
Tampa was into the trap again.
When you got full court pressure, you got to leave somebody open. And the whistle blows. A Tampa man is on the floor. That is Starnes. They could ill afford to lose that spark plug, and we'll take a look at this one again.
Shin handled the ball. He's on the fast break. He got the outlet pass on the left wing, and he passed off and just ran over Starnes. Of course, he's playing out of position on this particular play. He's not a guard. He's not used to handling fast break. He's used to receiving the ball into the basket as opposed to playing a wing or guard position.
Starnes had the wind knocked out of him, but he's okay now. 36-16, 20-point lead for Florida Southern. 3 minutes to go. Fitzmars. Backcourt pressure, but Starnes gets the ball up across the 10-second line. Now Doppler. Brian Williams on the left side. The advance is dribbled by Williams. He shoots no good, and it's rebounded by the smallest man on the court. That's Sean Fitzmars at 5'9". Here are the rebounds. Florida Southern 16, Tampa only 7.
They're just killing them, and it's all because of Donnelly Tyrell. He's just playing great.
Fitzmars scores for Florida Southern, and the Moccasins lead by 22 at 38-16. 2:20 left to go in the first half. Starnes again trying to set something up for the Spartans of Tampa. Ranked number 1 in the nation and being soundly beaten so far tonight. There's the bucket by Roscoe Brown, senior from Riverdale High in Fort Myers. Full court pressure by the Spartans. Fitzmars bringing the ball down, throws the shoulder down into Doppwell. The ball is taken away, but he is fouled, and Doppwell will draw a technical. Personal on Doppwell, and he's thrown for a technical foul, saying perhaps the magic words to the official.
It's too bad. They're down. They got a long ways to go, but it's not impossible to come back. And Doppwell just rode him all the way down the sideline. He bumped him 3-4 times. There was no doubt it was a foul. And then he had to say something to the referee, which, of course, was the basis for the technical.
The University of Tampa Spartans have completely lost their composure. I think their coaches on the sidelines the same way. Richard Schmidt has already been blown for a technical foul. Now I see his assistant, Don Bostic, jumping up and down, screaming. 38-18. And Dean hits that one, 39-18.
We don't have the shooting statistics from the free throw line right in front of us at this time. But, hey, if Florida Southern was hitting their free throws, they'd have 5 or 6 more points for that lead.
He misses that one. 39-18 it remains inside the 2-minute mark here in the first half. While Dean was shooting, the Tampa players on the court had a little get-together meeting of their own. A newcomer in there is Chris Henry, a senior from Willingboro, New Jersey. Perhaps to get some senior leadership on the court. I have not seen this young man play that much.
All right, Florida Southern has gone to the four-corner offense. They spread the court. They're going to run the clock on down to probably around 15 seconds. Oh, they started a little bit quick.
Dean is going to drive and passes off, tries to get it to Tyrell, and Roscoe Brown comes out with it for Tampa.
Tyrell had it and just fumbled it away.
Starnes for three, and he hits. Kevin Starnes, a three-pointer. It is 39-21 as Tampa tries to come back here in the closing seconds of the first half. 1:15. Full court pressure by Tampa. Full court pressure by Tampa and a timeout. Yes, Bill.
Nunez just couldn't get the ball in bounds, and Florida Southern, to handle that press, they got to set up some kind of play whereby they're rubbing off one or two players that can flash to the ball and get free. Now here we have a replay. Kevin Starnes, their point guard, an excellent ball player, just nails it from three-point range. It's just a couple more of those, and the University of Tampa back in the ballgame. This game is far from over. There's a minute 15 seconds here, and 20 minutes in the second half. It's 18 points. Hey, 4 or 5 trips on the court, and it's a 7, 8, 9-point game.
All right, it's 39-21 right now with 1:15 left to go here in the first half. Richard Schmidt gathering his men, and now you take a look at George Schultz, assisted by Gordon Gibbons. George, 8 years, the head basketball coach of Florida Southern. You know, this is the 5th time and the 4th straight time that the Moccasins and the Spartans have faced each other in the Sunshine State Conference Championship game. Tampa won 57-52 and 85. The Moccasins won 70-66 and 87, 63-62 and 88, and last year 68-67. The last 2 championship games have been won in the final second and by 1 point. And it was my pleasure to bring both of those games to you on Sports Channel. Now let's get back to this one. Ball comes into Michael Dean, and this time he gets it in the forecourt, drives all the way, lays it up, scores, and there's also a foul. Michael Dean gets the bucket, and a foul is called.
I don't think they called it. Did they wipe the bucket off? I'm not sure. They call it an offensive foul, no basket.
Oh, they do wipe the bucket off. I saw the offensive foul, the charging foul, but I thought the ball had left his hand before the whistle. It had not. So the score remains 39-21, and Tampa has the ball. Next foul will send somebody to the free throw line as both teams are now in the bonus situation. Doppwell to Brian Williams. Now Starnes handles it. Doppwell to Williams again. Williams got it by Strepp. The ball is stolen. Taken away by Donnelly Tyrell. And now it will be the Moccasins who will work the clock down.
They're going back to the four-corner offense. The old Dean Smith four-corner stall, and probably will take it down about 15 seconds and look for some type of offensive pattern.
George Nunez out of Miami High and Miami-Dade Community College, a junior. has the basketball, working it back and forth with Calvetti Pate. Now Starnes comes out to put some pressure on, and Nunez takes the shot, and he scores. And now it's 41-21 with 20 seconds left to go in the half. And it looks like Southern will wait for a last-second shot. And that brings or rather Tampa will wait for the last-second shot, and that brings the Florida Southern student body up to its feet. Starnes shoots, no good. 2 bodies on the floor, followed up by Chopwell for 2.
Good basket, good call by the referees. He did count. He got it released before the clock went off.
And the basket is good. That is, Schultz wanted to question the basket. He wanted to question why with one of his men on the floor, Nunez, there was no time. But that is all of the first half. Don't go away, though, because that's just the half of it. The score at halftime, Florida Southern College 41, Tampa 23. We'll be right back. With me right now, the commissioner of the Sunshine State Conference, Mr. Bob Bonata. And Bob, I don't know about you, but I am making an appointment first thing Monday morning to have my glasses changed because I can't believe what I'm seeing here tonight.
Well, Frank, I've been commissioner. This is my 4th year, and I watched these 2 teams play probably at least a dozen ball games over that period of time. And most of the time it's like 1, 2, 3, overtime or whatever. I'm the same way. I was just completely amazed because Tampa had 2 points. I think about 7 or 8 minutes gone in the first half.
That's right. In fact, 4 minutes went by before they got their first 2 points, I believe. But now, let's look at it another way, Bob. Last night, the situation was similar in reverse. Tampa came out early in their game last night, and with their 3-point shots, they broke way out in front. So we know that they can score a lot of points in a hurry.
Well, that's exactly right. University of Tampa has, I would not say lived with the 3-point play. You're so right. Last night they came out, I think he hit about 5, 6 in a row. They ended up 11 for 18, which is a pretty good percentage even on a 2-point play, isn't it? But tonight, well, you got to give George credit. You got to give Florida Southern credit because they came out defensive tough from the very beginning. Of course, Tampa had 4, 5, 6 turnovers at that time, but they weren't allowing them to shoot that 3-point play.
It just appears to me, too, that the Tampa Spartans at a point there late in the first half just completely lost their composure. I'm sure that that's one thing that Richard Schmidt is talking to them about at halftime. Hey, guys, settle down. We got to go back out and play our game.
Well, Frank, that's right. Tampa's dug a big hole for themselves, but again, that reverts back to the thing that they like. They do like the 3-point play, and that's one of the things that's revolutionized the game here. They come back into the second half here real quick like, get 2 or 3 of them. Hey, new ball game.
Bob Bonata, I've got to ask you one final thing about your Sunshine State Conference. I've maintained all along, and I haven't seen all of them, but I've maintained if there's a better Division II conference anywhere in the country, I've got to see it.
Well, Frank, of course, I might be a little biased, but I think we're the best Division II basketball conference in the country, or maybe conference period, with excellent baseball and golf and everything else we do have. But at least if we're not the best, we're one of the best.
Well, Bob Bonata, it's been a pleasure to have worked with you over the past 3 years now. May I say to you the very best of luck in the future to you, your lovely bride, and to the Sunshine State Conference.
Well, thanks, Frank. And we really appreciate Sports Channel. You, Frank, doing a great job for us these last 2 or 3 years. And I just hope someplace along the road you and I get together again.
We're going to get together and play golf, if nothing else.
Right.
We'll be back with more halftime activities, highlights, statistics, and everything else. But first, please, these messages and lead the University of Tampa Spartans 41-23. I'm Frank Musser along with Bill Alheim. And, Bill, it's just been all moccasins so far here in the first half.
Right. There's no question about it. FSC came out burning. They just wore it out. They stuck it in the hole. Here we got an example as they started the game. Fitzmaurice hits Donnelly Tyrell on the low post. He goes up strong, gets the first 2 points of the game. And they tried to do that all during the game. And then we have a situation here where, they put in a sub, Calvetti Pate. This is his first hands on the ball. He takes it to the left corner, the right corner rather, and shoots with the left hand and knocks down a 2-pointer. So that was a welcome exposed. Now, as they were trying to penetrate, getting it inside, the perimeter people were penetrating, and here they backed off Michael Dean, and he stuck it right in the hole. A real great 3-point shot.
Something about that Michael Dean three-pointer. We didn't see it on the replay, but just before he shot it, he looked over his shoulder, over toward his coach, George Schultz, looked back, eyed the basket, put it up, as if he was under orders to shoot the three-pointer. Well, even though they trail by 18 points in the ball game, there were some highlights in the first half for Tampa.
Right, Kevin Starnes is their point guard. He stepped in, took it all away, got the intercept, laid it up, and that's their first 2 points of the ball game, which was after 5 minutes of play. And we have an intercept here by Michael Dean, a quick little point guard who played at St. Thomas University before transferring to Florida Southern, and he takes it to the hole, and out of nowhere comes big old Williams, and he knocks it away. A real good defensive play. And ironically, 15 minutes now have gone by in the ball game before Brian Williams, their All-American, scored his first basket, and that was a three-point shot.
It's unbelievable that, it's unbelievable that Florida Southern broke out as they did, and just as unbelievable that Brian Williams was held, as you said, that long without scoring. We'll be back with statistics, but first, these messages, please, on Sports Channel. Half as both teams are back out for the second half. Look at that. Look at the field goal percentage. 70 for Florida Southern, only 37 for Tampa, Bill.
Yes, that's attributed to real good play and taking real good shots, and the fact that Dean hit one and Sean Morris hit 3 of his three-point attempts, which is he went 3 for 3 from three-point land.
Southern has controlled the backboards, out-rebounding the Spartans 17-7. Turnovers 10 aside. That's why Tampa was able to come back late in the first half and make it a little closer, was because of some turnovers.
Fitzmaurice and Tyrell 12 and 9 respectively, and Dean and Flowers follow 7 and 6. Stopwell's got 10, and Starnes 8, and Williams, their All-American, only got 3 points, which has got to be very disappointing for Richard Schultz. Now, there's a whole lot of time left in this ball game.
Fitzmaurice, well, Tyrell with 6 rebounds for Florida Southern. A big story right there, while Starnes and Morosky have 2 each for Tampa. I've got to believe that Brian Williams will come back and make his presence felt here in the second half, however.
There's no doubt in my mind that this game is far from being over. Tampa University is an excellent, excellent basketball game. They entered the ball game 26-2. And they're going to close the gap, I'm sure.
We'll be back with all the second half action right after this message on the Sports Channel. Tampa will pass the ball in to get the second half underway. There's Coach Richard Schmidt, and there's Coach George Schultz of Florida Southern. And it will be Brian Williams to pass the ball in. Fields 3-point field goals, 4 out of 5 for Southern, 2 out of 12 for Tampa.
Well, Tampa University is 104-10 in the Bob Martinez Fieldhouse. So believe me, Frank, when I tell you that this game is not over as yet.
Dean almost stole it, but instead Williams gets a bucket. That is his first 2-point bucket. He had 1 3-pointer in the first half and 5 points in the ball game. 41-25 now. Southern by 16. Full court pressure stolen away by Stiglitz. He flips it off to Starnes. Starnes gives it to Williams. They want Williams to shoot, and Williams is fouled by Nunez. So Williams will go to the line. This could be a turning point right here. If they get momentum going behind them, we know Tampa's a scoring team. That is Jason Shin coming in for Florida Southern.
It looks like they're a little bit confused as who's coming out of the ball game, and Jason Shin cannot win and come back out immediately. So he's going in, and Derek Flowers is going out.
That's right. Shin was not sure whom he was replacing. Meanwhile, Williams at the line, no, but he'll shoot again. He was fouled in the act of shooting. Williams, an 81% free throw shooter during the season. He's out of John I. Leonard High School in Lake Worth, and he hits on his second one, 41-26.
Neither team is shooting over 50% from the free throw line. Florida Southern just got to expect a lot of pressure. That's the only thing that Tampa can do. They've got to be able to handle it.
Tyrell puts it up and banks it in. Donnelly Tyrell. You put on that full court pressure, you got to leave somebody open.
Absolutely. There's a gap someplace in the defense. You got two men doubling on the ball. Someone's open someplace else.
Stiglitz puts it up, misses, and rebounded by Donnelly Tyrell. This is Dean. Fitzmars, Nunez on the far side. And a charge.
They called Nunez on the push-off as he took the ball to the baseline. Again, they're Florida Southern. They're not standing around, but they're not setting good picks, freeing people to come to the ball and receive a pass. So in effect, Tampa is overplaying, causing them all kinds of problems, and they're not countering it very well at this point.
That's Moss trying to put pressure on Starnes. Williams has the ball now. That is Roscoe Brown. Brown trying to get around Dean, cannot. Feeds, though. They get it to Stiglitz. He goes up, no. But it is rebounded by Williams. He is short with his shot, and now it is Donnelly Tyrell again, clearing the backboard for Florida Southern. Southern leads it 43-26. We played 2 minutes worth here in the second half. Dean shoots, no. Tyrell in the battle, and Dean comes out with it, shoots, no. Followed up, and it is good by Jason Shin, the junior out of Lakeland High School. Back down court quickly, and the shot is taken by Drexel DeVoe of Tampa.
It's up-tempo, running, tough ball game all the way. Can expect it for the rest of the game. 17 minutes, 45 seconds to go, and you can expect a high-energy output.
Fitzmars flipped it off to Dean. Now it's Nunez for Southern. Fitzmars has it. Dean will handle the ball. Williams guarding Dean. Dean goes in from the baseline, shoots over Williams, and scores, and it's 47-28, 17-23.
Michael Dean just plain beat Williams baseline. Williams was trying to play him head up a little bit slower than Dean. Dean blew by him and threw up a nice little running 3-foot layup.
Ryan Williams just called for traveling. Turns the ball over again to Florida Southern. 47-28 the score. Southern leading by 19 points. Michael Dean. Williams picking him up.
A lot of people standing around for Florida Southern. They got to be moving.
And the shot is taken by Donnelly Tyrell, and he scores.
Well, credit that basket to Sean Fitzmorris. He made the excellent bounce pass feed to Donnelly Tyrell in the low post. He put it in there just super, away from the defense.
Dean comes off of the rebound of Drexel DeVoe's shot. Dean goes up, misses, and Southern gets the rebound. That is Tyrell spinning, shooting, no, but he is fouled by Brian Williams. 49-28, Southern by 21, and here's the play.
Michael Dean missed a shot. Tyrell again come down with another rebound. He shut up and shot the ball up over Williams, and Williams slapped him on the lower arm.
That is the second personal on Brian Williams.
Southern just beating Tampa something terrible on the offensive board. Tampa's got to do a better job rebounding. You can't score if you don't have the basketball.
Donnelly Tyrell, a 72% shooter, misses. That is Carol Dopwell coming in, and Starnes goes out for the Tampa Spartans. Kevin Starnes out of Gaither High, Dopwell from Washington, D.C. Both shots are missed.
Again, if Florida Southern was hitting their free throws, they'd have another 6 or 7 points added to their lead.
Brian Williams.
Jason Shin.
And was fouled by Jason Shin.
This is one of the all-time coach's nightmare headache type things when a 6'6" player leaves the floor 21 feet from the basket and fouls the guy that far out on the perimeter. You just do not do that type of thing.
Williams at the line, rolls the first one in. 49-29, and Michael Dean is coming back in for Florida Southern. Nunez out, also in for Florida Southern. Derek Flowers.
Calvetti Pate is going out. Both of them great subs to coming in and out of the ball game, giving them a lot of rest because they're going to need it. There's 16:30 to go, and they've already played a game and a half with the intensity they put into this ball game.
Williams hits them both. It's 49-30. Florida Southern by 19. Full court pressure by Tampa. Fitzmars gets it across the 10-second line. Almost stolen away by Dopwell, and now it is taken away, but in doing so, a foul is called, and again, it's going to be Brian Williams, the All-American candidate for the Tampa Spartans, will pick up his third personal foul.
It's tough, Frank, in this in Tampa situation. Here they got to really put pressure on the ball. Everybody's reaching out. You got a little guy, and it's almost impossible to take the ball away from a guy who knows basketball, and he just got slapped on the wrist.
This is Michael Dean driving right, getting a free shot, tries to bank it in, no. Battle for the rebound, and coming out, Roscoe Brown of Tampa. Works the ball to Dopwell, back to Roscoe Brown. They have Michael Morosky posted low underneath, and the ball taken away by Southern. Dean streaking down court against Williams. Good block by Williams. Great block by Brian Williams. Tampa back down court. DeVoe scores! Drexel DeVoe. DeVoe, a product of Jackson High, Miami. Full court pressure again on Fitzmars. When he gets the ball to Shin. Now into forecourt comes Michael Dean to the paint, lays it up and scores. Dean hits the deck along with Drexel DeVoe.
That shows great determination and a lot of courage. He just got one knocked away from him, and a lot of athletes would have folded their tent and hesitated on taking another shot. You know, Dean took it down court, took it all the way to the hole, laid it up, and countered that, and with his own two-point play. 5'9",
Sean Fitzmars grabbed the last rebound. And like a leprechaun, down court with it quickly. Shot from way outside is good by Dean, a three-pointer. 54-32. Southern leading by 22 points. 14:56 to go in the ball game. There's a timeout. No, there is not a timeout. I beg your pardon. Fitzmars is out of the ball game, and now there is a timeout. We'll take a break and be right back to the Bob Martinez Sports Center after this message. Where they left off in the first half.
They're countering the Tampa pressure, doing a real good job with it. As a sidelight, a point of interest to our fans, Frank, Drexel DeVoe this season has averaged 31 points against Florida Southern College and only has 4 tonight.
Unbelievable. Now this is Kevin Starnes bringing the ball up court for Tampa. Fitzmars on him. Now he gets the ball to DeVoe, who you just mentioned, Bill Oldheim. Now Starnes gets it back. Along the baseline, the shot is taken by Roscoe Brown, and 2 points for Brown. 54-34. Fitzmars firing it down. And there is Tyrell underneath. He will not go for him. Rebounded by Brown of Tampa. And the Spartans now try to put on a surge.
That's a good demonstration why you need to develop a left hand. He had an easy left-hand shot and a very difficult right-hand shot, but he evidently does not have a good left hand and shot it the wrong way.
Starnes was fouled there by Derek Flowers, so it would appear.
Yeah, he gave a good ball and head and shoulder fake, and it went up in the air, and just a dumb play, leaving the feet. But, of course, everybody's anxious and uptight right now, so a lot of strange and peculiar things might very well happen.
Calvetti Pate, number 23, back in for Florida Southern. And Starnes will go to the free throw line. Not a bad free throw shooter. He made 3 out of 4 during the season. He did not score a point in last night's win over Rollins, even though he had 3 rebounds. I can't believe he went scoreless in the ball game.
But his value comes in leadership and running the team and dishing the ball off. I've had several coaches say he's one of the toughest players to play against and one of the most valuable players in the league. Not because of any great skill or God-given talent. He just protects the basketball and gets the ball to the right people most of the time.
Matt Streff has checked into the ball game. There he is on just about the center of your screen, number 42. Matt Streff, a freshman out of Mosley High in Lynn Haven. Starnes at the free throw line, and now Southern makes a substitution as Michael Dean comes back in, and he will replace Jason Shin.
They got a good ball handling lineup on the court right now, Frank. They got Calvetti Pate, who is really a 3-man, a wing forward, and 3 guards in the lineup, and they need it.
Nunez will pass the ball in. They're trying to break the full court press. Fitzmars fires it across to Michael Dean in forecourt. Underneath Tyrell. 2 points for Tyrell, despite the effort of number 32, Drexel DeVoe.
That's why they need the extra ball handler. And whoever gets the ball at midcourt can take it to the basket without a big man having to handle it, other than shoot the layup, obviously.
Roscoe Brown hot at the moment. Scores another 2, and it's 56-38. Southern by 18 with 13:45 left to go in the ball game. Traveling, and a turnover by Southern. Full court pressure is working right now for Tampa.
Right.
Fitzmars turned it over on the travel.
Sean Morris just caught the ball over the wrong shoulder, and finally got twisted around. He had already taken a couple steps. The pressure is tough.
Jason Shin comes back in, replacing Donnelly Tyrell for the Moccasins.
Tampa University has got everything to gain and nothing to lose. They're out there gambling, overplaying, putting on all kinds of pressure. And Southern, you know, is really fighting for a berth.
That was a pretty good matchup of the little men right there. Kevin Starnes at 5'11" got the bucket after being guarded by 5'9" Sean Fitzmars. And now Starnes, as he bids to steal the ball, commits a foul. And Richard Schmidt bounces up from the bench. It'll be the third personal on Kevin Starnes. Let's look at it again.
Again, it's just an overplay. Michael Dean, fumbled the ball, initial pass away, and it looked like it was going to be a free ball. Starnes dove for it and just caught him in a little block along the sideline.
Schmidt can't believe it. He's already been called for a technical foul in this basketball game, as has his All-American Brian Williams. Southern on the attack. Fitzmars. Now Michael Dean will handle it.
Michael Dean's being guarded by Brian Williams.
Dean fadeaway jumper, no good. And it is a loose ball, and coming up with it, Jason Shin. Southern has it back. This is Fitzmars. Shin. Now driving the baseline, laying it up and in for 2 is Calvetti Pate.
Calvetti Pate has really made a big contribution in this ball game. I know he has 6 points, and that's unusual for him because he hasn't demonstrated a lot of scoring ability on this level.
Both teams have good benches. That shot taken and no good.
Matt Streff in the ball game. He's a young man that replaced Roscoe Brown for about 6 or 7 games when Roscoe broke his hand about 2/3 of the way through the season.
That's Michael Morosky just checking in for the Spartans of Tampa.
Nunez back in for Dean. They're rotating the guards. Fitzmars, Dean, and Nunez trying to keep fresh people in there at all times.
Tampa with possession. The shot by Drexel DeVoe. It goes. Drexel DeVoe out of Miami Jackson High. Now Calvetti Pate carries it all the way. No basket. No basket. A charge and no bucket.
That's happened several times tonight with a big man, and here we have Calvetti Pate trying to take it to the hole, and he's just not as mobile as the guards and not used to doing that. So the defensive player for Tampa just stepped in and took the charge.
That was his first personal foul. Starnes shoots. No. And the rebound, Donnelly Tyrell gives it to Sean Fitzmars. And now the Spartans drop back on defense. Did not try to pressure in the backcourt. Fitzmars dances right. Nunez. Fitzmars. Fitzmars guarded by Drexel DeVoe.
Florida Southern, I think, is playing it smart. They're working for a real good shot. They're not forcing it.
As Jason Shin goes up with a shot, he is fouled by Kevin Starnes.
Fitzmars drove the right baseline to across the lane, bounce pass right to Kevin Shin, and he tried to go up with it. The ball was stripped from him, but he got fouled.
Starnes, his third personal foul, he'll go to the bench. In fact, everybody will go to the bench as a timeout is called. 11:36 left to play in the ball game with Florida Southern leading by a score of 58-42. We'll be back. Don't go away. For the Moccasins, and it's their basketball. Nunez fires it to Dean in the left-hand corner. Nunez gets it back. George Nunez from Miami High, Miami-Dade Community College. The shot is taken, no good. And there is a foul underneath. And I believe this one is going to be called on...
I think it's Jason Shin. He pushed off a little bit on a rebound. And Virgil Valdez, the official from Miami, who also is a great football official, caught the action.
That is the third personal on Shin. George Schultz, the Florida Southern coach. Drexel DeVoe with the basketball for Tampa. Dopwell. Orosky gets it to Roscoe Brown, and in and out and back in again. 2 for Brown the hard way.
Roscoe Brown was the leading rebounder and their third leading scorer when he got injured, and they know he's capable, and they're trying to isolate him one-on-one in the low post and not only see if they can get the two-point basket, but draw the foul as well.
58-44, 14-point lead. Had been as high as 22 for Southern. That is Nunez. Fitzmaurice trying to get the ball to Donnelly Tyrell. And it goes out of bounds. Turned over to Tampa. Timeout will be called by Florida Southern. They have 10:31 left to go in the basketball game. 58-44 the score. We'll be right back with a final 10.5 minutes.
This year, 5,000 of our children will take their own lives. One way to prevent suicide is listening. Are you? 5 o'clock. People in a hurry, rushing for trains, for buses. Time to go home, to family. But for this man and 2 million like him, there is no hurry, no schedule, nowhere to go. For them, the street is home.
For the University of Tampa Spartans, field goal percentage in the second half, Southern 61, Tampa 75. 9 out of 12 from the floor for the Spartans. Kevin Starnes brings the ball up court for Tampa. Ryan Williams for 3, no good, and rebounded by Calvetti Pate of the Moccasins.
One of the things Florida Southern has missed this half is the three-point shooting of Fitzmaurice and Dean.
Actually, the way it's gone, they have not needed it. Building up such a tremendous lead early in the ball game and still leading by 14 points. Michael Dean with the basketball. Digs it off to Calvetti Pate and gets it back. Dean being very closely guarded by Brian Williams. Williams staying right with him. Off to Calvetti Pate. Williams with a steal. Williams with a steal. Down the right side. Spins around, takes the shot over Nunez and scores. Now that's an All-American play right there by Brian Williams.
Absolutely. He was well defensed. He waited till he got control of the ball and the player. Dean is called on a charge at midcourt as Drexel DeVoe stepped up at the right time.
Great play by Drexel DeVoe.
Yeah, Dean caught the pass and didn't know where DeVoe was, turned around. DeVoe was at least one step away and charged into DeVoe, and of course that was an offensive foul, and the ball goes back to Tampa University, and they're only down 12, and as we alluded to earlier in the ball game, Frank, even when they had a 24, 25-point lead, we knew that University of Tampa was a better ball club than they showed, and it was going to be a tight game before the night was over.
Third personal on Michael Dean. That is Williams. A reverse layup is no good. Battle around for the rebound, and coming out with it is George Nunez of Southern. Gets the ball to Calvetti Pate. As Calvetti Pate tries to get it back on the give and go, he is fouled.
No, I think they called Roscoe Brown on the kick of the ball that time before any foul took place.
Well, let's take another look and see.
Yes, they're coming down. They're running a fast break situation, and Roscoe Brown kicked the ball that time, and it's just a violation. The ball goes back to Florida Southern on the baseline.
So, no foul, and Michael Dean will pass it in. We have 9:10 left to go in the basketball game. And a 12-point lead now for Southern. Tampa's knocked 10 points off the widest margin of 22. Calvetti Pate, no. And Doppwell, Carol Doppwell on the rebound for Tampa. Here come the Spartans. 8:53 left to go in the basketball game. Drexel DeVoe down the right side to the baseline, puts it in the air, rolls it across, no. And it is followed up by Williams. Brian Williams making his presence felt here. A 10-point lead for Florida Southern. 8:35 to go.
Not only a 10-point lead, but all the momentum in the world has shifted from the Moccasins bench over there. Now Tampa University has it all going for them.
Well, you can hear in the background, I think the Moccasins may have as many, if not more, fans here than do the Spartans. They're, at least, I don't know whether there are more of them, but they are noisier, but they've had more to cheer about tonight.
Right, Calvetti Pate drove the left baseline that time, and Mike Morowski came over and hammered him a little bit. And I think he's going to go to the line to shoot, too. I haven't seen the signal from the official as yet, but they're gathered at the free throw line. So all indications are they're going to shoot.
17 fouls charged against Florida Southern here in the second half.
As in all ball games, Frank, it's going to get down.
Brian Williams goes out for a rest. Called over to the bench by Coach Richard Schmidt. Checking in for Florida Southern is George Nunez.
As I was trying to get to a moment ago, Frank, as many of the championship games that we all witnessed over the years, it seems apparent that when it gets down to the last 2-3 minutes of play, most of the championship games end up with the winner being determined from the free throw line.
Second attempt, no good. It will be Tampa's ball. 59-48. 11-point lead for the Moccasins of Florida Southern. Starnes with the basketball, guarded by Sean Fitzmaurice. Two very fine little men out there on the court. Drexel DeVoe, shoot. No. And this time, the Moccasins grab the rebound. Coming down with it, Calvetti Pate. Fitzmaurice will bring it up court. 7:55 to go. Fitzmaurice takes the shot and scores. Sean Fitzmaurice. A free shot for him from the baseline, and he hits it. Intercepted. Intercepted by Derek Flowers of Southern. And they toss it away. Starnes brings it back down for Tampa. DeVoe gets it underneath to Doppwell for two.
A 4-point turnaround. Flowers could have waited, but he got some help from the guards, and he tried to make the great speed and didn't do it.
A great effort by Flowers. After the ball really was by him, he saved it going out of bounds, tried to get it back in to Donnelly Tyrell, but instead it went out of bounds.
Fitzmaurice threw that one away.
Yes, he did.
He sort of lost his footing, got out of control.
Timeout on the floor, 61-50. Florida Southern leads by 11. We'll be right back on Sports Channel. Down to 11 points, 61-50. And Tampa has the basketball.
Donnelly Tyrell ran off the court with the trainer. I don't know where they were going and what the situation is, but if he's lost for any reason, Florida Southern's got a big problem.
This is Drexel DeVoe. Williams shoots. 3-point range. No. Calvetti Pate on the rebound for Southern. And again, the Moccasins are beginning once more to dominate the backboard.
Tyrell is back on the court and on the bench. Everything looks okay.
Fitzmaurice almost tied up. Gets the ball loose to Flowers. Now to Calvetti Pate. Back to Nunez outside. George moving on Starnes. Gets the ball to Calvetti Pate. Killing clock. Pate's going to be tied up. He doesn't watch it. To Fitzmaurice. Fitzmaurice is tied up. Now gets the ball to Jason Shin. Shin tries to get it outside to Nunez. Stolen by Starnes. Starnes goes in. Nunez hits the deck. The basket no good, and Calvetti Pate has the basketball for Southern. As Fitzmaurice brings it down, Starnes, a frustration foul right there, I think. Richard Schmidt is absolutely irate on the far bench. Schmidt is really flipped.
I don't know what Starnes said on the floor, but the referee overheard it. I don't know if he directed anything to the referee. but the referee called a technical against Starnes.
The shot by Fitzmaurice, no. One of the assistant coaches tried to calm Richard Schmidt down, and Schmidt just threw him off. That one is good. I'll tell you, if looks could kill, there'd be a couple of sick people, at least. It'll be Southern's ball. The Moccasins have a 12-point lead on the basketball with 6:10 left to go in the game.
Michael Dean handling the ball well out at the point, but they've got the ball back in the corner again. I don't know as I put the ball there.
Jason Shin takes the shot. Is it good or not? There was a whistle and a foul.
Florida Southern's only 7 for 17 from the free throw line, Frank. You mentioned that earlier. They didn't appear that they were shooting very well, and they're shooting less than 50%, probably around 42% from the line.
Last foul was on Drexel DeVoe, and that is his fourth. 5:57 left to go. Southern with the basketball and with a 12-point lead. Michael Dean slows things down.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea to make Tampa University come out and chase them because they're going to get tired. Not that it will affect them defensively as much as it will affect them offensively. And when you get fatigued, your legs wear out, and you shoot the ball with your legs as well as you do your arms and hands. So fatigue plays a very big part at this part of the ball game.
Nunez to Calvetti Pate. 9-8 seconds on the shot clock as Dean takes the shot, no good. And Starnes comes out with the ball for Tampa. Good ball handling underneath, and the basket is good by Drexel DeVoe. 62-52. Almost a steal by Murawski. Did steal it. He saved it from going out of bounds to Starnes. Roscoe Brown. Doppwell, the shot by DeVoe. Three-point land, no. Murawski rebounds. Slapped away by Jason Shin. And here come the Moccasins.
Some great play right in that little segment right there. Another foul on Kevin Starnes on Michael Dean nearing midcourt.
Starnes fouling Dean. Now the scoreboard says that's Starnes' third. I thought it would be his fourth.
That's what the PA announcer said too, Frank.
I mean on Dean. I thought that would be
Starnes' third foul.
I thought that would be Starnes' fourth. No, it is his third, right. And it'll be Dean going to the line. Michael Dean from Key West, Florida, Key West High School, then St. Thomas University. And speaking of Starnes a moment ago, he's going to the bench for a rest. Here's the last play, Bill.
And Dean got it at midcourt, and Starnes just reached around with his left hand, tried to slap the ball away. Not really a very high percentage defensive play, but right now they're grasping at straws, and they got to make every attempt to steal the ball possible.
Dean only 1 out of 4 from the line tonight, despite 85% during the season. Now that looks like the Dean we have seen earlier this year as he just swishes that one through. 63-52, 4:45 left to go.
Florida Southern's got to do two things if they're going to win the ball game. One, they got to do what Michael Dean just did. They got to hit the free throws, and two, they got to get the ball up court against the pressure.
Both of them are good by Dean. Sean Fitzmaurice comes in. Dean goes out for Florida Southern. And here come the Spartans. Trailing by 12, 4:40 on the clock. Being behind so much of the ball game, the Spartans have lost their sixth man, their fans. It has not been that noisy on their end as it has been for Florida Southern. That's Roscoe Brown going up and back in the midcourt there. 64-54. The lead is 10 by the Moccasins. That is just a desperation inbound pass right into the hands of Williams. As Williams goes up, tries the shot. He is fouled, and he seems to be in pain on the floor.
He stepped on somebody's foot, it looked like, Frank, and I think the referee called him for walking. It's a traveling call, and the ball goes over to Florida Southern. Michael Dean back in the ball game. Calvetti Pace going out. They got 3 good ball handlers in there.
Now Don Bostic, an assistant coach for Tampa, is screaming on the far side.
Derek Flowers back in the ball game, and now they got the starting lineup on the floor. Florida Southern does.
That's Richard Schmidt, the head coach of the Spartans. There was no foul. That's why Bostic was upset. Williams shoots, no, and the whistle.
Sean Fitzmaurice slipped down on the left side, and he looked like he was hurt a little bit. He got back up struggling. Here we have Williams going on hole, and Tyrell making a great block, but away from the cameras, which we did not see. Fitzmaurice slid down, and I didn't think he was going to get back up.
Third personal foul on George Nunez. And some wet spots on the floor. One of the referees asked for a towel to dry things up. Brian Williams will go to the free throw line. 64-54, 10-point lead for Florida Southern. 4:11 left to play in the ball game. There's Don Bostic, who a moment ago was just absolutely irate at the no foul call.
First time it's been under 10 points since the first 3 minutes of the ball game. Tampa pressure is really causing a problem. Florida Southern is totally unprepared for a full court trapping defense. This is a standard point press with man-to-man principles, and I'm not, so happy with how they're handling it. They finally brought the 4th man up, which did the job.
Michael Dean brings it all the way down. As Nunez got the ball into Derek Flowers, Dean thought he was fouled by Roscoe Brown, so told the official. But to no avail. Dean works it to Sean Fitzmaurice. 3:48 left to go in the basketball game. Nunez directing traffic right now. Ball slapped away by DeVoe, and he slams it to Drexel DeVoe with the steal and the basket. DeVoe steals it again. 2 in a row taken by DeVoe. 64-58. DeVoe puts it up. No. Roscoe Brown gets it. Puts it up. Yes. 64-60. And we are going down to the wire.
4-point ball game.
A 4-point game. It was a 22-point lead for Southern. It's now a 4-point game. And charging on Williams. They say he charged in, that Nunez had position, and that Williams charged into him, and Williams draws the foul.
I believe he's going to shoot a 1-on-1. Here comes Williams. Now, a few moments ago, he made a great 1-on-1 move on a takeaway, similar situation. Here he wanted to stuff it so bad, he didn't keep his cool. He could have beat Nunez 1-on-1, but he just went too fast, out of control, and Nunez stepped in, took the charge.
That'll be the 4th personal foul on Williams. Take another look.
Because Nunez, DeVoe with those quick hands, he is really quick. And he gets up, of course, and stuff it easy with the breakaway. No contest there.
That was the first of 2 consecutive steals by Drexel DeVoe. As Southern brought the ball down court again, DeVoe stole it again, but to no avail that time. As Williams was charged, there you see number 34. Brian Williams, his 4th personal foul. 2:54 left to go in the ball game, and a 4-point lead for Southern. Well, as you said, Bill, it's unbelievable that Southern, as well as they played every aspect of the game except the full court trap or the full court press.
Right, they just can't handle the pressure. They're not set up very well. They're trying to get it inbounds 1-on-1, and Tampa University is fronting Florida Southern offensive players, denying the pass, putting one person behind them for the alley-oop type pass, and just has caused a fit. As they did the last time they had possession, they brought Donnelly Tyrell from the backcourt to the front court for the 4th man on the offensive end of the court and got it inbounds. They're going to have to do more of that.
Well, you've been watching Richard Schmidt, and now you can take a look at George Schultz as he has sent his men back onto the court. 2:54 left to go in a 4-point lead. It was 122. And again, full court pressure as Southern tries to get the ball in and do something with it. Sean Fitzmaurice to Michael Dean, and Dean will get it across the 10-second line. Dean and Fitzmaurice.
They gone into the spread offense. They gone to the four corners. They're spreading it out. They're going to run the clock down. This is good, and this could be bad. It depends whether or not you can hit the free throws and get a good shot off in the last 10 or 12 seconds of each of the 45-second period times, and you must take a shot.
Carroll Doppwell now guarding Dean as Brian Williams has 4 personal fouls. Nunez now with the ball, and Williams picks up Nunez. Ball slapped away, but taken back. Fitzmaurice takes the shot. No. Ball will go out of bounds, and it will be Tampa's ball. The Spartans have a chance to cut the lead down to 2 points on this possession, or 1 point if they should get a three-pointer up and in. 2:08.
I'm sure they're going to take the ball inside. They're trying to get to Williams or DeVoe. They're so good, or they'll try to get it into Flowers in the low post.
As you saw a moment ago, the shooting percentage is just about even. Southern 56, Tampa 54. Shot no good, but underneath, as Drexel DeVoe put the ball up and through, what is the call?
They called Donald Tyrell over the top. I don't know how it happened, but he gave up the inside. Here it is here. The shot goes up, and number 32, DeVoe just outquicks him to the glass, gets the inside position, and Terrell just went over the back. It was really a good foul because now he has to shoot 2 to get the basket, get the 2 points.
There was no basket, right. He gets half of it back. That was the second personal foul as you look at George Schultz. Second personal on Donnelly Tyrell. A 3-point lead for Southern. And DeVoe, 72% free throw shooting up the ball. It's a 2-point lead. Who would have thought that Tampa would have come back like they have here in the second half?
They had to come back. They certainly weren't that bad a basketball team. Things were just went all the other way. And basketball is a game of streaks. A game of runs. And in every game, there's going to be 2 or 3 runs by each team. Florida Southern broke open the game with an unusually great offensive display. And Tampa at the same time, Frank, they couldn't have thrown one in the ocean off the end of the pier.
This is Sean Fitzmaurice as the Moccasins just run down the clock. Dean now with the ball. Feeds it off to Nunez. And the whistle blows as Nunez puts the ball back to Flowers. But the call is against Florida Southern. Tampa has the ball.
About 2 weeks ago, Florida Southern lost a real heartbreaker here at the Martinez Sports Center. And here they thought they had it wrapped up, or looked like they're going to have things wrapped up, and they're in a heart stopper right now.
DeVoe to Morosky. The shot no, but a whistle.
They called that one on Terrell. They could have called it on Morosky for pushing off.
That'll be the third on Donnelly Terrell.
DeVoe tried to drive the left baseline and couldn't. Got it back into Morosky, and watch his left arm. See, he actually, in my opinion, Frank, in that particular shot, threw out his left arm and pushed off Tyrell, but the referee called it the other way.
Well, it certainly did appear it was just the way you called it, Bill Alheim. Nonetheless, Morosky goes to the line, shooting 2, so they cannot tie it up on the free throws. Michael Morosky from Merrimack, New Hampshire, is a junior, 6'6", 220. He had 80% of his free throws during the season. It's a 1-point lead for Southern. And Tampa still pressing all the way. The ball is maybe thrown away and will be thrown away as it goes out of bounds. Tampa's ball.
And it's coming back here underneath the basket. Nobody touched the ball. It's got to come back to the point where it was thrown inbound.
So Tampa will pass it in under their own offensive basket and a chance to take the lead. If they do, it'll be the first time in the ball game they've had the lead. And now a timeout is called by Tampa as Richie Schmidt wants to gather his men around. We're inside the 1-minute mark, 52 seconds left to go. Southern leads by a point, 64-63.
Well, it's like we predicted, Frank. It's coming down to the wire. And as we suggested also, along with those previous earlier comments, it's going to go to the team who hits the free throws in the last couple minutes of play. Neither team was really shooting well from the free throw line.
George Schultz gathering his people around. George and his assistant coach, Gordon Gibbons. And you see the Tampa fans. They're finally in the ball game. The fans, the Spartan fans, as the crowd noise has been dominated from the Florida Southern College and Bob Martinez Sports Center. There's the score. Southern leading by a point. 52 seconds left to play.
In order to go to the national tournament, Florida Southern College is in a must-win situation. Tampa University and FIT have both got fabulous records. FIT, although knocked out of the tournament, is 25-3. And, of course, Tampa University, as we know, is 26-2. And both of them are going to get bids to the national.
Now the whistle blows before the ball is passed in. And it looks like Nunez, away from the basketball, pushed off. And it is a foul called on George Nunez. And now Tampa can take the lead at the free throw line. It will be Drexel DeVoe, I believe, on the line, and the foul on Nunez, his fourth. DeVoe to the line. This is Sean Fitzmaurice back in for the much taller Jason Shin. They give away height, a foot in height, to get ball handling ability. DeVoe 2 out of 2 from the line. If he makes this first one, it'll tie it, and you'll hear the crowd.
Well, he's a 72% free throw shooter for the season, Frank, averaging 22 points a game.
This timeout card to Florida Southern as George Schultz in the light jacket and Gordon Gibbon in the dark jacket want their people down. The score has been tied. This is the first time it's been tied since it was 0-0.
Right, Frank, and it's really a barn burner. I wish we had more people in the stands. We got a few vacant seats, and when you miss this type of championship caliber basketball by two nationally ranked teams, some students here on the campus are missing a whale of a night out.
I'm being facetious now, but it looked for a while as this game might cost Florida Southern coach George Schultz a lot of money, because he was quoted in the paper today as saying that if the fans didn't think they got their money's worth out of this basketball game, just get in touch with him and he'd give them their ticket money back.
Well, he wouldn't have to give any money back in this type of ball game, one way or the other. The way they started off, it was really a great offensive display. You'll never, rarely ever see a team start off as hot as they were, and rarely do you see a team start off as cold as the Tampa University was. So, as we knew after seeing them play 3 or 4 times this year, FSC wasn't as good as they started off, and certainly Tampa University wasn't as bad as the way they started off for the first 15 minutes. And now the tables have been reversed, and it's a whole new ball game. And the game is only 52 seconds long. 52
seconds left, and the folks are as good as the people right now. It's all tied up, and this man can untie it. Drexel DeVoe. He has 13 points to this stage, and Tampa leads for the first time in the ball game, 65-64. Michael Dean bringing the ball up court against Brian Williams. 45 seconds left to go. Let's see how Florida Southern College plays it now. Almost thrown away, but saved by Flowers. Back to Dean. 3-point range. He hits. Michael Dean, a big bucket for Southern. 67-65, 30 seconds to go.
Kevin Starnes is setting up the play. He called number 6, whatever that is, we don't know. It's a double stack on each side, and DeVoe runs around the pick.
And finds Morowski.
Terrell just fell asleep. Left Morowski for an easy layup, and it's a tie ball game with 11 seconds. 10 seconds down.
Michael Dean with the basketball.
Michael Dean's got to look to penetrate. He comes off the pick by Big Donley. Tyrell forces up a three-pointer, and Flowers tipped it in. Flowers tipped it in.
As the buzzer does sound. And this time we do have a buzzer. And Florida Southern has won the basketball game 69-67 on the tap-in by Derek Flowers.
This is amazing. It's absolute basketball history here tonight, folks. This is the fourth consecutive year these two teams met in the Sunshine State Conference, and the fourth consecutive year that Florida Southern College has won the game. And several of them, Frank, this is the two-point tip-in with 0 seconds on the clock, and the two of the preceding 3 years, they were one-point games. Last year, Donnelly Tyrell, if I remember correctly, knocked down a jumper with like 3 seconds left on the clock to win it at that time.
Well, we had that game last year. We'll be back to wrap this one up for you. The final score here at the Bob Martinez Sports Center. Florida Southern College 69, the University of Tampa 67. We will be right back. Congratulations to Hal Smeltsley, the athletic director, to head coach George Schultz, his assistants Gordon Gibbons and Ted Kennedy, and trainer Jeff O'Neill. And just a job well done by the Moccasin. But there is still a question to be answered. Will Tampa also go to the NCAA as an at-large team, or will it be Florida Tech? That question will be answered tomorrow, Bill.
It's impossible. They put a big pressure on the hands of the NCAA Tournament Selection Committee. Here you got the tournament winner, which is an automatically qualifier for the tournament, and you got two teams ranked in the top 10 in the nation, and it would be very unusual. It hasn't happened before that we know of in any conference where they had 3 teams qualify for the NCAA Division II final.
All right, it was a great basketball game. Florida Southern College winning it by 2 points. And now as the net goes down, we invite you to be sure to tune in to Sports Channel later today for exciting University of South Florida baseball, live at 7 p.m. as the Army Black Knight Cadets take the field against the Bulls from Red McEwen Field in Tampa, Florida. The executive producer for today's game has been Jeffrey H. Kempner. Coordinating producer has been Harlan Singer. This game has been produced and directed by Brad Hurd. Remote facilities provided by WCJB. For Bill Alheim, I'm Frank Messer. The preceding has been an exclusive Sports Channel presentation. Once again, the final score was Florida Southern College 69, the University of Tampa 67. Thanks for watching, and so long, everybody.
So Steffi not only got a break point, you got a knockdown. That's long.
Martina was in a desperate position there. She played her first volley and had to retreat. And she could only hope that Steffi's forehand went long there, which it did.
It's deuce. Tightrope walking now. Martina down 2-4, down 2-1. And deuce.
Great approach from Steffi Graf on that cross-court back in, just inside the sideline. Martina didn't even have a play here.
I think it hit the line the way it skidded.
And Graf really leans her shoulder into that ball and skids off the line.
You're right, but it did hit that sideline. It was just a wonderful shot.
Well, you could tell because of that little skid part when it hits the line full of grease and lightning. It's a different type of material the lines are painted on Supreme for.
Break point. Martina down to her second ball.
And Graf's got her forehand grip here, ready to run around it.
Which she did. The lob is wide. And so Steffi Graf will serve for the championship in this magnificent final when we return.
College Sports and Sunshine Network. Your ticket to the best seat in the house.
We want you to know that if you or someone you love is suffering from the pain of osteoarthritis, there is treatment available to make living with the disease bearable. The Arthritis Research Institute of America urges you to see your doctor. He can recommend a treatment that can lessen your minor aches and pains and the chances of the disease disabling you. For more information, contact the Arthritis Research Institute of America, Clearwater, Florida.
The Big 8 Gridiron Report, a weekly highlight show this fall on Sunshine Network.
It has been splendor on a blue carpet. The 20-year-old from Brühl, West Germany, who rules the world, had not made a believer of the woman whom she supplanted, Martina Navratilova, who clawed back time and again. But this is match game. However,
but Steffi's trying to tie this rivalry up at 7 matches apiece. She had been down 7-3. This would be a 4th straight win over Martina, including a 3rd this year. She already beat her in the Wimbledon and U.S. Open finals.
Their longest match in point sets. Ace! She hasn't had one for a while. That's number 9. Steffi leads the ace race, 9-8.
Now, Bud, I don't care what happens this match, but Martina cannot go away from this match, win or lose, with a bad feeling, because this is the best I've seen her play against Steffi. And she's run well. She's covered things. She's been confident.
That's wide. And a break point. No, Martina finished the last 2 seasons here on a sour note. This is not a sour note.
No, absolutely not.
And it ain't over. The lob is good. That is long.
Martina took the big swing at the approach forehand volley there. She couldn't resist it with the ball hanging in the air like that.
I think she couldn't make up her mind what to do with that. The point was hers. Anything she did, she could have tapped it.
I don't know about tapping it on the big point, but...
Well, but the court was wide open. It's still break point. Well, that's her ball. She had to play.
She was there, and she knew it. This is a much more confident Martina Navratilova.
Billie Jean King absolutely has helped her. And another break point.
Billie Jean King looked pretty happy there. Oh, yes. Steffi Graf said, there is no point in a match where I am fearful. I am not afraid to win or lose, and she showed it on that point. That ball hit the outside edge of the line going about 95.
Whoops. And that's the first winning return of Martina, I believe.
Yes, but Steffi tried the surprise serve and volley on her, but it was a very accurate return.
Fourth break point of the game. Third deuce.
Martina's mad at herself. She let that one slip away. You know, when you get that break point, you've got to make Steffi make a winner or an error. But let her do it. Don't you do it.
And here is match point.
She peppered away at Martina's forehand side at that point. When she sees an opening, she keeps going for it. She'll exploit your weak area to the hilt.
They've just passed the 2.5-hour mark. First serve to be repeated.
Martina's still playing in the middle, wanting that forehand.
And it's back to deuce. One match point. Blotted. Fourth deuce. What a wonderful display for women's tennis. This wind-up of the 80s. And break point again. Fifth break point of the game as the 7-time champion. Strange to keep it going.
The slice back in from Martina, which she measured so carefully, floats long on the cross court.
Fifth deuce.
Usually Martina's slice backhand is so reliable.
It flew there. And this is the longest game Steffi has had to serve. That's going to fly, and again match point a second time.
Very tough to come in on that kind of a ball when Graf slices the ball inches over the net, grazing the net cord.
Oh. Should be Greer quickly on the call. And another save.
And great playing at the net by Navratilova. Taking a chance there, coming to net, and going to the open court for the winner.
Half dozen deuces. It's still going. Could have been over if Graf had grabbed one of her 2 match points. Service winner and a 3rd match point.
And I would think she's about ready to try and go for that ace out wide to Martina's forehand. Just gamble on the first serve. She's been playing it at about 90% speed, maximum speed.
You guessed it, Steve, but the call is fault. It's all over. Number one, and she proves it. With the coach, Pavel Slozil, after hugging Papa, a trial of 2 hours and 34 minutes, and it belongs to Graf. And this woman, you can see why she was number one for so long. In 4 sets, 6-2 in the fourth. A wonderful battle. Worthy battle. And the final one of the 1980s, when Martina was dominant until Steffi came along. And isn't she magnificent? Steffi Graf. We'll be right back.
For those considering a Toyota Camry, some revealing news. There's another 5-passenger sedan with front-wheel drive, fuel-injected engine, roomier trunk.
Dave.
This is Jerry Royce. Jerry, this is you side. We're doing a little show here for the baseball fans in China.
You're very tall.
Thank you. I am very tall. Is this your audience right here?
Yeah, right there.
Hi. How are you?
Up till this moment, nobody in China ever knew Kenny Howe.
No.
Now 300 million people are going to know you.
Thank you.
You can say 中国朋友你好.
中国朋友你好.
Ah, great!
中国朋友你好.
The Dodgers have always employed some of the most talented players. This has helped them to win 5 national championships. Baseball is very popular in many Asian countries, especially Japan, where a home run is celebrated with fireworks. Peter O'Malley is very supportive of baseball.
Side over the presentation ceremony. This woman has won it 7 times, but Steffi Graf has now seized her 2nd Virginia Slims championship at the summit of tennis. 16 women came in here, the Sweet 16, battling in the Virginia Slims standings to the final playoff.
And Steffi Graf, after battling to hold her serve, being down breaks, doesn't have to do anything. Martina hits it out.
At 20 years of age, a 2nd championship of the Slims. Martina's 11th final. Steffi's 3rd. A sport with 1 and 2, such as those women, has little to worry about.